Today we're taking a look at how drone motors are manufactured.
Look how sharp that is.
Meanwhile, he comes over here to the next machine. We are in Zhuhai, China, which is just on the other side of the Shenzhen Bay. You can take a bridge to get over here or a ferry. And we're in a very special place today. Today, we're taking a look at how drone motors are manufactured. It's not the whole entire process, but you'll get a good idea. Here you can see steel tubes that are used and processed later. These are pretty big ones. Inside, you're gonna see a handful of smaller ones. So let's go have a look. I didn't believe them, but they told me that there are 90 machines. And as I counted them, I didn't really see 90 different machines. Here you have smaller tubes. Now I have to keep an eye on where I'm walking, and we don't want to show off the customer's product too much, just enough to give you an idea of what we're doing and what we're seeing here. So I'm gonna keep my eye on the floor because there's grease and lubricant everywhere. But you're gonna see that they are making all different components with CNC, 3-axis CNC. They also have lathes, and there are 4 buildings here. So there's a lot to cover, but we're only gonna cover a high majority of it. And all of the components are processed, and 90% of the work that you see here is for one of their clients. They don't want us to talk about who that one client is, but they did a pretty large investment with them. This is the back side of the machines. I think there's 7 in this row, and then 7 in the next row, and 7 over there. But again, there's 4 buildings full of machines. So we're slowly just gonna walk through, kind of talk about what we're seeing. Of course, like thermoformed trays holding all the different components. And you'll notice that there is a handful of components that look like this. The top piece that goes onto the housing body. And those are made out of aluminum. So you're gonna see a lot of aluminum being processed here. Now, if you see orange, that means they're working inside the machine. Maybe we can take a look and have a peek inside the machine to see all the jigs that they have set up. And believe it or not, there is a lot of manual labor that is involved in building drone motors, for example. They have different sizes, and you would think it's all automated, but in the real world, it's human labor building all of these with machines. And he has this jig, which is basically a CNC block, and there's a piece of foam that he uses to push down. So he picks it up, and he pushes down on it, trying to get them to all be at the same height. Then he tightens the vise, hits the go button, and it's go time. Meanwhile, he comes over here to the next machine and sees that it needs service. So it looks like these ones have just finished. So let's watch how he takes them all out. He loosens the vise just enough to get the parts out, takes the pieces and places them in the thermoforming tray. He takes the air and cleans off the lubricant and prepares to clean the jigs so that they're free of debris. And then he places another set inside and gets ready to start production again. All right, that's it for this row. Let's go ahead and check out the next row. All right, here they're processing same but different. These ones look like it starts out as the top and it's just one stage of the CNC process. And it appears that they go through multiple stages. here I noticed two laborers or two workers here are working together. One guy is deburring the components, the other guy is loading the machine. And when he loads the machine, this guy gives a nod to go ahead and start production. So they're working in parallel. I'm not going to show it on camera, but I do recognize on the paper the name of the company. It's a very large motor company. And every machine has a different document with the company name on them. It's 5:24 p.m. and I was told that the factory laborers are going to leave at 5:30. So we're trying to get through here to get you some shots of what's happening, but some of the lights have already turned off. Production has stopped in this area. It's probably difficult to see, but if you were to come in close here, you'll see that there's a fixture that holds this drone motor. So we're looking at a lathe, and that lathe is designed to hold the components here on the outside so that on the inside they can CNC the inside diameter. And you'll see that there are 4 tooling set up for this one process that's happening inside here. You'll see it's red a little bit. There's 2-step anodization process, one for black and one for that red. And then it goes through multiple steps in order to get it that color. Uh-oh, I don't remember where I picked that up from. It's somewhere right here. I'm just gonna put it back there and hope this guy knows what he's looking at. Looks like all the laborers are done here. Let's go ahead and go to that next area over there. And we're kind of going out of order, but this is the way the factory tour was presented to us. You see a lot of thermoforming plastic trays here. I don't know if it's garbage. I don't know if they just throw them here because they don't need them right now. This is a different type of product, but again, it's still a drone motor. And these ones they put through a washing solution. So they will use the lathe to cut them, and then they will put a washing solution to clean it before it goes to the next stage. It looks like they're just doing a lot of drone motors. Again, I'm giving you the tour that I had. This is, unfiltered, uncut, walking through the factory. You're looking at the floors. There are metal shavings everywhere. I see people with different tools picking it up, but still, this is how business is done. In the perfect world, you think it's in a clean room, but in the real world, this is what you're seeing. The guy dropped the part and he was chasing it down to pick it up and put it back. We stopped at this machine for a while and we watched it work. Really cool machine. So basically it's a lathe and it's more or less automated. The bar stock will come in, it will pull it out, and it'll run through the process, cutting out the different parts. Now these parts are steel. So if we look down here, these parts are made out of steel. Looks like a big ring, but you have to have steel on a drone motor so that the magnets and the rotation, it all comes together smoothly. If you try to do aluminum, you're not going to have the rotation, you're not going to have the movement that you need to have on a drone motor. And this machine just keeps processing over and over and over. And what you're looking at is it's taking the bar stock that's loaded into the machine, and it will just continue processing it, and it will drop it into this holder right down here at the bottom once it's finally done. I thought they were falling into the bottom of the machine, but no, they're actually falling into the plastic container right there. And they're right down inside there. Sorry if the shots aren't better, but the reality is this is how it's done in the real world. This is what you're seeing. This is what I'm seeing. This is how the work is actually performed. Now you do see aluminum bar stock, but that's for different products, different parts. These guys specialize in making a really small drone motor housing. And I do see different tools around here so that they're able to measure and make sure that whatever it is they're making is within tolerance of the specification from their customer. All right, so we're just walking through. I'm gonna go ahead and walk you through the next building where we went. I don't know where our host went. I think he's standing outside, maybe on a small break, but we're just gonna walk over here real quick, walk through, walk back out, and then maybe we'll come and see the assembly area. So let's go. Walking into the, I guess, third location or third building here. And we're not gonna go too, we're not gonna look at the products per se, but in this building, they're making only one type of motor for one type of customer. I can't even see in there. I don't even know if that's a 3-axis or, I mean, if you look and you know the machine types, then you know, but I don't know. This was the exact path that I took on my tour. Smells like lubricant in the air. And it looks like the same process. You have a 3-axis CNC. So I think you could show in here without disclosing any information. It looks like the same types of jigs that was just processed in that other building there. This is fascinating. They take ejecting pins to hold the components in place. They slide them on and off. So I think that's really fascinating. I love to look at the tools every time I come to a factory to see what sort of tools they took. So they're basically taking this, which is an ejector pin from an injection mold, and they're sliding the pieces on to hold them in place. Oh, here we go. We have a probe. So it looks like, you know, I don't know what the process is on this one, but this probe, if you were to touch it or change it, it would change the number here, which would be, for example, a measurement. So maybe this is sitting here for a specific reason for measuring it, or maybe that's their golden sample that they're comparing everything against. But it's really fascinating to take a look at how things are set up. Now, he made a point of walking to the other side, and I had to kind of like do a dance to get through this area. Ah, okay, so we're looking at the inside parts of, I don't think I'm disclosing anything here. It's the inside pieces of the drone motor. And you're gonna see in the next building how they process these. I completely had a full lesson in how to process and measure these. It's completely different than what I thought was even capable or possible. Oh, we have a little bit bigger ones over here. So what you can notice here is they have different size holes, a big hole and a small hole. When we go to the next location, I'll show you what they're doing to measure those and how they QC them. So we just came into the last building here. If you were to turn around, you don't have to do it now, but if you were to turn around, you would see all the steel pipes that we first started shooting with. There you go. So again, this is the order. The presentation was given to me, and I'm just giving you the same exact one. Thermoforming trays. Over here, we're gonna go take a look at the assembly. So this is where they do, I don't wanna have everyone look at me, but this is where they do inspection. Oh wow, it's so quiet in here now. I mean, give it 10 minutes and it's super quiet. Come over here, take a look. So the lady was sitting here and she had this tool right here. Basically, it's a steel tool and it has 2 different sizes. So side 1, side 2. And she was picking up all of the components. So we'll take this one in the corner and I'll make sure to put it back in the corner. And she was checking the tolerance and the fit going into each side. And if it wasn't good, she would put it over here. If it was too loose, it would go over here. And there are 2 different sizes. So you have the inside hole and the outside hole, or the top hole and the bottom hole. And I don't know which way this goes, but I can feel there's a slight difference. One's loose and one's tight. And that's what she was doing for the inspection. I was thinking you could put this on a CMM, or you could put this on a type of video camera device that could take measurements. But I was just informed that you can't do that. You need a tool such as this to check, to know that this steel is a very tight tolerance. And this material, let's say it's aluminum, is not such a tight tolerance. Or you can measure it by taking the male and putting it into the female and get an understanding of how tight that tolerance is. So I'm gonna put her tool back here. I'm gonna put this piece back over here. So what you can see is these were the passing pieces. There was a small hole that was too small. These are gonna go back for assembly. And then these other pieces are basically garbage. And maybe I got that backwards. Maybe these are the garbage and these are the pieces that are gonna be reworked. But the reality is, in the perfect world, it would come out of the machines perfect. But in the real world, you have to have people inspect them. And then you actually have defects, and that defects costs money. It costs money in machine time, it costs money in labor, it costs money in electricity, it costs money in shipping, etc. So that has to be deducted, and that has to be factored into the cost of the actual manufacturing process. Oftentimes that doesn't get communicated to the customers, and they just think, you know, they want their price for their product. But the manufacturer has to think about the defects, how many defects they're gonna have, what are the machines they're using, how good of a tolerance are those, and how efficient is that machine operator. Those are all really important to CNC. All right, so let's go ahead and take a walk through here. It is really quiet, so I'm trying not to talk too loud, but I'm pretty excited because there's so much stuff to see here. So a lot of plastic thermoforming trays. Oh, okay, these are slightly different color. So these were anodized in kind of a blue gunmetal color. And I'm allowed to show these because the reality is you don't know who the factory is. These are sexy. Remember, those pieces are made out of steel. And they have different sizes. And I was informed that the maximum quantity output that they could do at this factory is 25,000 pieces per day. We're not going to come in too close, but that's pretty cool. It seems like she has a type of a deburring tool that she was probably going through and making sure that the inside or outside diameter of the part is specified correctly. Look how sharp that is. And I'm thankful for the laborers. You know, they're moving out of our way and kind of scurrying around us. So I'm grateful for everybody for being so nice. And they wear these miniature little finger protection. But again, they have these tools that they're checking the inside diameters of the components. And these are pretty heavy steel parts. And I'm wondering if there's a measurement. Yep. So there's a measurement on every single one of these. So that's 7.993 millimeters in diameter. What's this one? Is that the same? Oh, here's a 6.965. So they take it out to the third decimal spot. So this is as far as I've gone on the motor tour. I haven't seen the stamping. I haven't seen the motor, the coiling. They're basically making the housing here. I haven't seen any circuit boards or soldering or anything like that, but that's what this factory does every day. I don't know how many laborers they have. I would assume maybe 100 laborers is my assumption based on how many people I've seen here, all the different machines. All right, so I have another meeting I got to get to. I got to get upstairs to talk about some products. But that's it for now.